Section 11.8, problem solving and quadratic functions. So in this section, what we're trying to do, we're trying to see, first of all, whether the function is open upward or downward, which letter of A in front of X determine that. When the function open upward, obviously you have a minimum, and that is the value of the f of X or the Y in the vertex. If the function open downward, then you have maximum. So that is a letter of A is less than 0. So in this case, you have minimum or maximum. So this is when A is less than 0, and this is where A is greater than 0. So, and then the formula is ax squared plus bx plus c. Remember, when you find the vertex, on the vertex, x of vertex, now find from this formula, minus b over 2a, which is also line of symmetry as well. Y value, it's your maximum or minimum, depending on whether your function is open upward or downward, okay? So this is a formula that you're using in the sections, which is very similar. How do I find the value of y? When you take the x and substitute here to find the y, and we see that on the examples. Then this is the example in the book. On this type of problem, normally what it is, we give you the formula, and what you could do, one way is to just write it as formula of a times x minus h to power of 2 plus k. And when you do that, then you could determine your h and k. And when you find your h, then you substitute that in the equations. But on those examples, I show you different way, or we don't have to use this, we could just use the second method. That also true for example 2. Example 2, if you read the examples, this information is given. This is the parameter of the rectangle, and also multiplication, which is the area. And then on the next page, they show you how to solve it and how to find the maximum or minimum point. When I get to the example, the last two examples of the homework would be very similar to this particular one. I just want you to have a copy of this, which is already in the text. Now, the very first problems. Number of tickets sold each day for upcoming performance of Handel's Messiah is given by this. On this kind of problem, we give you the equations, and then we want you to find the vertex. We give you the equations, we want you to find the vertex, and then tell whether there's a minimum or maximum. Okay, so I want to work on number 1. On the number 1, this equation is given. You understand that n of x equal is almost like a y value. So when you see n of x or any type of function of x, means this is y. So what I do is I write the general equations under this. Doing that, then I understand that number that's sitting next to x2 is a, which is in this case is negative 0.3. We understand that if a is less than 0, then the parabola open downward. Therefore, we have a maximum. So when a is a negative number, parabola open downward, and then we have a maximum. And so b and c, b is 9 and c is 15. So how do I find the formula? How do I find the x? You don't have to write it in the way that we show you on the next section. So the new thing is, when you find this y, when you want to find this x, x is always minus b over 2a. Okay, so here, to find the x value, x is minus b over 2a. I already identified my a, b, and c. So I'll take these numbers and plug into this formula. That gives you the x. Now, for the vertex, we have the x. How do I find the y value? To find the y value, you take this x and substitute into this equation for x. That gives you the y value. All right. And so this 83 is your max. Second problem is very similar. But remember, when we want to do that, first we have to write the general equations. So that determine our A, B, and C. A is positive. When A is positive, means the problem open upward. Therefore, you have a minimum point. B and C are given. How do I find the x? X is minus b over 2a. Again, b is negative 1.8. You put all here, and that gives you the x. How do I find the y? Take this x and substitute here into the equation for x. That gives you the y value. So our vertex is 4.5 and 1.6. And since they mentioned in the problem that Cx is in $100, all I need to do is take each of these and multiply by 100. Okay, so remember now for these kind of problems, to find the vertex, we don't have to rewrite the equation. We could just go ahead and find the vertex from this formula, minus b over 2a. Problem 3. On problem 3, it's kind of word problems. And let me find that problem's the statement, which you already have the copies. Here it said, what is the maximum product of two numbers that add to 22? So there are two numbers that when you add them is 22, and they want us to multiply them. So those two numbers are unknown. Let's say the first one is x, the second one is y. They ask us to find the product of these two, means multiplications. What is given the problem is the sum of these two numbers is 22. If you already have sum of two numbers, you could find y in terms of the x. All I need to do is move the x to the other side, so y is 22 minus x. Now the product is x times y, but since you already know the y now, is x times 22 minus x. So when I multiply this in, this is what you have. Now you have minus x2 plus 22x. This is a parabola that doesn't have any c. So c is 0, b is 22, and a is negative 1. A is negative 1, is less than 0. That means parabola open downward. Therefore, you have a maximum. Now, how do I find the x? X is minus b over 2a. B and a both are given. Substitute here. You find the x is 11. When you find the x is 11, then here y is 22 minus 11. So that gives you 11 for x and 11 for y. Both are the same. So, and we understand that this is the maximum. So the product would be 11 times 11, 1 or 121. The next problem, number 4, is also very similar. The only difference is in number 4. Problem number 4, it said, what is the minimum product of two numbers whose difference of these two numbers is 18? So that means x minus y is equal to 18. So in that case, if I move y to this side and 18 to that side, it would be x minus 18 is equal to y. Minus y goes to that side is positive y, 18 goes to the other side is negative. So now the product is x times y. Y is x minus 18. So you substitute that here, you multiply. Again, when I write the general equations, I notice that a is 1, which is positive. Since it's a positive, parabola open upward, therefore we have a minimum. B and C are given. There is no C, so C is 0. How do I find the vertex? Vertex is minus b over 2a. Again, you have the b, you have the a, you plug in, you find the 9. X is 9. How do I find the y value here? 9 minus 18, if you want to find the y. That is -9. So your vertex is 9 and -9. How do I find the product? X times y, which is -81.